What if I told you that one of the most criticized, doubted, and overlooked players in football history is now on the verge of winning the Ballon d'Or? Sounds impossible, right? Well, keep watching, because this story is going to change the way you see football forever. This isn't just another football comeback story. This is about a player who was once mocked as a Euro 60 million flop, someone fans wanted out of Barcelona, only to become the most informed player in the world. 3 things you're about to learn in the next few minutes. The psychological trigger that made him go from bench warmer to Barcelona savior, the controversial tactical switch that unlocked his true potential, and the small tweak in his mentality that turned him into a clutch performer on the biggest stage. But first, let me ask you something. Comment below which country you're watching this from. Hit like and subscribe so you never miss legendary football stories like this one. Picture this. You signed for one of the biggest clubs in the world for 60 million euros. Fans expect you to be the next superstar. But instead, you struggle. You get benched. You get mocked. You start to doubt yourself. That was Raphinha at Barcelona. For 2 long years, he was seen as nothing more than an overpriced misfit, constantly in the shadow of better dribblers, more technical wingers, and rising young stars. At one point, fans didn't even want him in the starting 11. Some even called him a panic buy. Sell him, they said. He's not Barca material. And just when it seemed like his time at the club was coming to an end, something changed. A single decision flipped the entire script. The moment that would turn his career and Barcelona's season around. So what was it? What changed? It wasn't luck. It wasn't just hard work. It was a complete shift in how he was used on the field and how he saw himself as a player. Hansi Flick arrived at Barcelona with one goal: to unlock hidden potential. And when he looked at Raphinha, he didn't see a failed winger. He saw something else, something dangerous. Instead of forcing him to stay on the right wing like Xavi did, Flick gave him positional freedom. No longer boxed into a rigid role, Raphinha was allowed to roam, cut inside, and become an attacking threat from multiple angles. And the results? Insane. 12 goals, 10 assists. Big game performances against Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. A player reborn. A player who went from being mocked to carrying Barcelona on his back. But how did this transformation actually happen? What was the secret behind his tactical reinvention? And more importantly, could this be what puts him in the race for the Ballon d'Or? Stay with me, because in the next 60 seconds, we're going to break it all down. But here's the crazy part. This transformation didn't happen over months. It happened almost overnight. One moment, Raphinha was struggling to fit into Barcelona's rigid system. The next, he was thriving under a manager who finally understood how to use him. Flick didn't just change his position. He changed the way Barcelona played entirely. Under Xavi, Raphinha was expected to stay glued to the right wing, take on defenders one-on-one, and create chances from wide areas. But here's the problem. He's not a natural dribbler like Dembele or Vinicius Jr. His strengths were never about flashy skills or taking players on. He was a player who thrived on movement, positioning, and lethal finishing. And Flick, he saw that immediately. So instead of limiting him to the wing, Flick gave Raphinha freedom. He allowed him to drift inside, attack space, and link up with the midfield instead of isolating him on the touchline. And suddenly, something incredible happened. He started scoring. Not just goals. Game-changing goals. A hat-trick against Bayern Munich. A crucial goal in El Clasico against Real Madrid. A stunning finish to seal a 3-0 win against Valencia. These weren't just any goals. These were the types of performances that define careers. The performances that turn doubters into believers. And here's where things get even crazier. His stats aren't just good, they're elite. In just 16 games under Flick, Raphinha has 12 goals, 10 assists, and one of the highest work rates in European football. His pressing numbers are through the roof. He's in the 97th percentile for defensive recoveries among attackers. He's not just scoring, he's running non-stop, pressing defenders, and leading by example. And let's not forget, this is a player who was once considered a liability at Barcelona. No. He's wearing the captain's armband. He's stepping up in the biggest moments. He's turning into a leader. But that brings us to the biggest question of all. Can he actually win the Ballon d'Or? Is this just a hot streak, Or is Raphinha proving that he's one of the best players in the world? Stay with me, because what happens next might just shock you. Let's be real, just a few months ago, the idea of Raphinha competing for the Ballon d'Or would have been laughable. He was benched, doubted, and constantly questioned. Even Barcelona fans weren't convinced. But today, he's not just in the conversation, he's making a serious case to win it. And it all comes down to one thing: big game performances. Ballon d'Or voters don't just look at numbers, they look at who steps up when it matters most. And Raphinha, he's been delivering in the biggest moments. Think about it: 2 goals and an assist in El Clasico, a hat-trick against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, the winning goal in a must-win match against Valencia. This isn't just about stats anymore, this is about dominance. But here's the real reason why this matters. Barcelona is in the perfect position to make history. Right now, they're fighting for both La Liga and the Champions League. If they win both, Raphinha won't just be a key player, he'll be the reason they lifted those trophies. And let's be honest, when you're the star of a Champions League winning team, your Ballon d'Or chances go through the roof. And here's where things get even crazier. His playing style is evolving in ways no one expected. Under Flick, he's not just a winger anymore. He's a playmaker, a leader, and an all-around attacking force. He's making smart runs, dropping deep to build attacks, and pressing like a machine. His dribbling numbers have actually dropped, but that's because he doesn't need them anymore. He's using intelligence, positioning, and movement to destroy defenses. And that's exactly why the Ballon d'Or isn't just a dream, it's a real possibility. Because if Barcelona lifts those trophies and Raphinha keeps up this form, who's stopping him? But there's still one final test he has to pass. One last challenge that will define whether he's truly worthy of football's greatest individual honor. And trust me, what's coming next? It's going to change everything. But here's the final test, the moment that will decide if Raphinha truly belongs among football's elite. Because in football, it's not just about playing well. It's about delivering when the pressure is unbearable, when everything is on the line. And that moment, it's coming. Barcelona is heading into the most crucial stretch of the season. Champions League knockout stages. The La Liga title race. The biggest games of the year. These are the matches that make legends. And if Raphinha wants to win the Ballon d'Or, this is where he has to prove it. Not just by scoring, but by carrying Barcelona through the fire. Because the greats, they don't just perform, they define entire seasons. And let's be honest, the competition is fierce. Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Erling Haaland. The biggest names in football are all chasing the same prize. But here's the thing, Raphinha has something they don't. He has a story. A journey from the streets of Brazil to the grandest stage in football. A player who was once written off, laughed at, doubted, now standing toe-to-toe with the biggest superstars in the world. A true underdog story. And if Barcelona wins the Champions League, if Raphinha is the reason they lift that trophy, the Ballon d'Or isn't just a possibility. It becomes a reality. This is his moment. His shot at immortality. From a forgotten talent to a footballing icon. And the only question left is, will he take it? What do you think? Can Raphinha really win the Ballon d'Or? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, hit like and subscribe for more incredible football narratives just like this. Because this is what football is all about.